everyone. Welcome to our September development update. Hopefully you have been enjoying your September and all of the sweet content that we've been showing. I know Stephen has been also sneak peeking some great stuff along the way as well. And we've been excited. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. So first and foremost, welcome to the stream. If you're new, we are going to be going over a lot of things. So I'll go into a little bit of detail about that. We'll do quick updates and then we'll get right into it. This is going to be a bit longer of a stream. So if you need something to drink, grab yourself a coffee during the intro and some water to get yourself started because it's going to be a long one. First and foremost, I am joined by the wonderful Stephen Sharif, who is our creative director. How are you doing, Stephen?
I am doing well. We have had a crazy month of testing and bug fixing and optimizations, but despite the tiredness, I'm good.
Yeah, we all were up till I was up till midnight. I don't know how long you guys were up till. It was
Oh,
late.
there was a 7 a.m. night. I think I was up for 27 hours straight one day,
Yeah,
getting ready for extra life.
I went to bed at 2 a.m. one time and you went to bed. I saw that you posted something at 4 a.m. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, clearly I'm not needed here. I'm gonna go get some sleep so I'm functional tomorrow. And then of course I'm joined also by Jeffrey Bard, who is our lead game designer. How are you doing today, Jeff?
Hi, everybody. I'm doing pretty good. We had a fun day last night. You'll get to see some of that. But yeah, doing good, doing great.
Awesome. I love
Yeah,
you.
we're really excited for this stream because last night we were able to record some additional 4K footage.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so hopefully you all enjoy that. And we will be uploading that as a separate thing too as well, right? That's the plan?
Yes, so that's I believe that's being uploaded right now by Tristan to YouTube. It's going to go live, I think, just after the stream, so you guys can watch it there in its full 4K glory. But we're also going to show it on stream as well.
Yeah, it'll be cool. So I'm just going to go over kind of like what we're going to talk about today. So we're going to do a studio update. We'll do some design, and we actually have a really long video for you that we'll be playing. We have our environment update, character art update, and a Q&A as well. So it's going to be a long one with a lot of goodies. I do have some quick updates for you all. So I'll just pop over to those. Just so you know, we did just wrap up our immersion dev discussion. So thank you all for joining us and giving us a lot of great content there. Toast has wrapped up that and sent over the compiled takeaways to our dev team. So they will be looking over that report. Our next one is going to be on housing and decor tools. So we were really excited to hear your guys' feedback on that. I know design is working on a lot of housing stuff. You're actually going to see some of that stuff here as well and some node relevant stuff. So definitely give us all of the goodies and details on that front. Beyond that, we do have, we put out a really cool coloring book, and you all have definitely submitted some really neat coloring book submissions, so we wanted to spotlight.
So cute.
Yeah, we wanted to spotlight some of those. So here we go. I'm just going to show a couple. Thank you for submitting these. Some really crazy colors. And then last but not least, people have been asking us about a Halloween contest, and we're not going to give you all the details yet. We'll have an article that will have all the information, so go to ashesofcreation.com/news. But we have our Glorious Gourd contest coming this October again, so stay tuned. We'll have all the details on what you can expect on that front here soon.
And to be clear, I think there's a specific prizes for the Glorious Gourd contest, isn't there?
Do we have prizes?
I think there's like some Alpha 1 keys that we might do.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll have more details about that, so stay tuned and do let us know your thoughts on that front. Okay, so with that, we will just get right into it. So Stephen, walk us through the studio update and tell us all the things.
Absolutely. So we have had a very successful previous round of hiring. We went in with 24 open positions. And I believe we are at 20 as of today that we have hired from the 24. So there's still 4 positions. You will see if you go to intrepidstudios.com that there is still a number of listed positions available. And that's because we really don't ever stop hiring per se as we're moving forward. We still need a lot of these positions, multiple people in some of these positions. Our next hiring round is probably going to be in January. That's when we really go with a number of additional positions and we kind of go into full on recruiting. And that's going to be coming January. The studio update from a move-in standpoint, we have delayed our new move back to the studio. We're still working from home with COVID stuff, but we've delayed that until the beginning of the year because just kind of 2 things really. One, we don't know how fall is going to impact the COVID numbers and whether or not the great state of California is going to determine that offices that are non-essential can no longer work in their offices. And I'd hate to put the studio through getting back into the office and then having to go back to home. So we're going to wait and see what happens in fall. And then additionally, we have some deployments that are coming at the end of this year, Alpha 1 being one of them. And I don't want to mix up that hard work that many of us are going to be going through during that period and also have to juggle a move back into the studio. So that's probably going to come beginning of next year. Things are going really good from a development standpoint. We have had a lot of work done over the past couple of months since, July, really when we started getting into some of that testing. We had some great tests this last weekend. We had about 440 some odd testers in on Saturday and Sunday, and we have been collecting a lot of data on performance optimizations, bug fixing. Really can't kind of express enough the hats off to our testers who have gone through this very, very buggy, preview of Alpha 1, which is great because we get to get all that stuff out of the way as we get closer to actually delivering Alpha 1. So major hats off to those testers, but things are going really good.
Yeah. So thank you for following along with us, and we have been posting the job positions that have been available on our social. So if you follow us on all of our social channels and our LinkedIn, if you're interested in those positions or you know someone who would be good for them, definitely follow up with them and let them know because we'd love to have them join our Intrepid family. With that, I think we're ready to go into design stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so quick, I don't know if we want to go to the video right away or if you want to kind of preempt for some stuff first.
I think let's just preempt maybe the video just a little bit, and then we'll just go into the video and we can chat afterwards. What do you think, Jeff?
I think that sounds great.
Okay.
Yeah. So just to give you guys a little preamble to the video here, obviously, disclaimer necessary. This is the preview to Alpha 1, so technically still pre-alpha. Not a lot of polish, not a lot of optimizations. The UI is completely placeholder. However, in this video, what are we discussing, Jeff?
Well, sometimes it takes a little while to get from one place to another, and it helps if you have a mount. So we're going to be talking a little bit about mounts, and specifically mounts that are not afraid of getting wet.
Yes.
So we will see you in a quick bit after you check that out.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another 4K video in the development update of Ashes of Creation. Just wanted to take a moment to kind of talk about the progress and development of the preview for the Alpha 1 that's coming at the end of this year. I am joined by our amazing lead game designer, Jeffrey Bard, our resident bard.
Hi, everybody. Hope everybody's doing really well. We're excited to show you some cool things today.
Yay! And then we also have Lou Perza, our community marketing lead, Margaret Crone.
Hi. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited about turtles, so,
I like your little staff. It's like a little tiny baby staff.
I know. It matches your outfit, though.
Dwarf stuff.
It's like a dwarf staff, yeah. We also have Violet Light, our social marketing or social media manager. I'm so sorry. Social media manager, Danielle Violet Light.
Hello, everybody.
You were playing an elf today.
An elf? I'm always an elf.
Today, I was like, always.
Oh, that's true.
Always.
That's true. I didn't think about that. And our senior community manager, Lieutenant Toast, or in this case, just Toast.
Just
No-
toast.
No
I brought my
tiny
best
toast
made-
today.
made
No
today.
tiny toast, no
No
mini toast.
prefix, no
I
suffix.
know. That's so sad.
Simple,
Sometimes it's really
plain
delicious, though.
Toast.
This is true. So guys out there, guys and gals, we have been testing a lot over the past, when was the last time we did that 4K video? It was like in July, I think, right?
as
Wasn't
well.
it?
Yeah.
Middle of July or something, June, I don't know. But we have been testing a lot. We have made a lot of progress, kind of getting things ready for testers. Just this last weekend, we had a little over 440 testers helping us on Saturday and Sunday, and actually today, Tuesday. We had a lot of people in, squashing bugs, finding bugs, performance testing, pretty much getting as much as possible ready and tested. And we're going to continue to keep testing and getting the Alpha 1 ready for all of you guys those of you who are participating in Alpha 1, for those of you to get in and help us find things to iterate upon and test all the great things for Alpha 1. We're pretty excited about that. Aren't we, Jeff?
I can't explain exactly how excited I am. It's one of those things where, stuff goes live and kind of everything kind of breaks loose, and it's fun and exciting, and it's like riding a horse. It's great.
I think for
Absolutely.
me, it's been really exciting to actually get to play with groups because I hopped in and I played with a couple of different groups and we had a lot of fun. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
nice to hang out with our community. We have such awesome people and
We really
super,
do.
super nice.
Yeah, we do have
And they've been so patient with us.
an
Yes.
amazing community. Every time, I have an opportunity to interact with you guys out there in the community, I'm reminded yet again why we are doing this, and really what our motivation is to bring you guys an awesome game, something that you guys can be proud of and we can be proud of too. So we appreciate your support. We appreciate your guys tuning in to our monthly live streams and jumping on our social media and interacting with our amazing community team, Danielle, Sarah, and Margaret. It's a great pleasure to see you guys involved in the conversation and the discussion, giving your input, giving your experiences. It means a lot to our team as we go through that stuff. But what I'd love to do today is talk a little bit about mounts.
Yay. Is this where I get to
Yay.
finally ride my turtles?
Oh, should we ride turtles? So, okay. Well, before we
Yes.
get into some turtles,
The suspense.
let us discuss a little bit. Actually, let me turn my UI on. By the way, our standard disclaimer, UI is placeholder. A lot of things need polish. So keep that in mind. There's really been no polish, and the UI is placeholder, and you might see bugs. So, yes. But but getting a little bit into mounts. So just to kind of inform you guys who are unaware, we have a few types of mounts. We have flying mounts that are kind of restricted to royalty status individuals. Those are mayors and kings and queens of castles and legendary rare drops from legendary bosses. Those are the mounts that are capable of flying. You may only ever see 10 to 20 or so on a server at any given time. And then we also have our land mounts. And land mounts come in three specific tiers. And each tier kind of has additional benefits. Those mounts have abilities and they have skills that kind of get leveled up with the mount. And they can potentially glide. They can do cool roll effects. They can just kind of do a whole interesting amount of things. And that's really tied to our animal husbandry system. So players will have an opportunity to kind of breed specific types of mounts and stats and skills and all that kind of stuff. You have a really unique twist on what's available out there. But additionally, outside of the land mounts and the flying mounts, we also have water mounts. And I love water mounts. Don't you guys love water mounts?
I really do.
They're a lot
It's
of fun.
really, yeah, if they're done right.
Absolutely.
And I think we're doing them right.
I think we are too.
Yeah, because sometimes there can be weird mechanics for them that makes it hard to swim. But I like ours.
Absolutely. So why don't we do a little demonstration of some tide snappers? What do you
Gotta
think?
give
Now,
ourselves some
what's
space.
a tide snapper exactly?
What is a tide? Oh, there we go. We got a tide snapper.
That.
Here it comes.
Oh my gosh, we have multiple tide snappers. I'm just going to kind of walk next to you guys. So as you can see, the tide snappers,
Slow.
yeah, the tide snappers are relatively slow unless they are fully submerged within water. And as you can see, they're not really in the water quite yet. Oh, there's a little spurt of water. Oh, another little spurt of water. And I'm kind of in some weird water.
I love
It's
the
cool,
foam
refreshing
right
water.
here.
Yeah.
Is the sway of foam lapping up on the beach. It's so beautiful.
Oh, there's
I'm
a coastal crawler.
free.
All right, let me jump on a tide snapper as well. Here we go. So as you can see, it's super slow on land, but once you get into the water submerged on an aquatic mount, you actually pick up some speed. Wait for, oh, I'm walking. I'm still walking. I was like, why am I not going fast? There we go. Yay, and you can go under the water. Oh, we're under the water. This is amazing.
I feel
so
like a
Steven.
turtle or a mermaid or something. I'm into it.
I'm definitely
Watch
gonna
your breath.
drown. I know.
Yeah, don't drown.
Let me just
We've done a
swim.
few takes.
Yes.
You gotta
I've
show
died.
them the barrel roll.
The barrel roll?
Yeah.
Oh, don't look at that. All right, don't do a barrel roll. Ready? Hey! Hey, that was good. So, I mean, you know, some of the great things about the aquatic mounts is there's a lot of sea content planned in Ashes of Creation. And that sea content will include ships of different classes. It'll include raid bosses and treasures and underwater dungeons. And all of these things will be made much more accessible if you are atop an aquatic mount, like this amazing Tide Snapper. What are some...
So,
Oh, so go ahead.
I know a lot of people have questions like, will aquatic mounts be able to go as far as like big ships can go and things like that?
So yes, aquatic mounts will be able to fully traverse the naval areas in the water areas in Ashes.
So an intrepid explorer could choose to traverse on his tide snapper alone.
Correct. As a matter of fact, there are going to be cool and fun things that you can do out solo in the waters as a adventurer atop an aquatic mount.
I feel like on land, the tide snapper should like dig a hole and then bury an egg.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool. Now, this guy doesn't really like water as much.
No.
As a matter of
Scared.
fact,
But he's a turtle.
he is a turtle, but he's actually a tortoise, a land
Yeah,
tortoise.
turtles versus tortoises.
Yeah, he's a galactic tortoise. So he likes space, honestly, as you can see inside of his shell. There is some spatial areas, and as you kind of move him around, that space changes a little bit. It's kind of cool. But if you get him close to water, he really doesn't like that, so he kind of escapes into his shell. And you're like, where are you, friend? He's like, all right, I guess it's safe.
That's got to be one of my favorites.
It's
so
cute. Danny and I said the same thing.
Jinx!
Yeah, I like him. Oh, I like the Swiftclaw, too.
Yeah, we've really got to give props to our animators because all of our mounts are so full of character.
Oh, absolutely. And to demonstrate kind of the difference, so you see, as a land mount, he's relatively fast on land. But if you take him into the water, he slows down. And he's like, but I must swim. I don't want to swim.
He slows down, but he still looks cool.
Yeah, he does look cool. As a matter of fact, if you take him underwater. There we go.
Ooh, glowy.
Ooh. So many.
He sounds like he can't breathe though.
No, he has
the poor
asthma.
raptor back there.
He's
Violet's
struggling.
like, aww.
Violet's
Let's see.
so
Look at the raptor.
Aw, but look at it swimming. It's so cute.
It does look pretty awesome. Oh, let me jump on a raptor
Run out
too.
of breath.
What are some of the games you guys have played that have had awesome mounts and aquatic mounts?
For me, not so much the mounts, but when I'm playing WoW and I'm playing my druid, I really love my seal form. Just being able to run at full speed, jump in that water, and also move at full speed is just great.
Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah.
feeling.
It's just cool to change form yourself too. It's really neat.
Without stopping, like that's my favorite part of it.
Yeah, like it automatically does it. It's neat.
What about you guys?
For me, it's less of mounts and stuff, but I don't know if you guys have played Sea of Thieves, but I really like their like water combat and the way that their ships work and stuff like that.
The ocean
Yeah, I
definitely
think-
feels like a terrifying place in that game. The sense of danger that comes along with that.
Yeah, I think they've done a great job sort of modeling that like real authentic ocean experience.
Yeah, my experience in MMOs with underwater combat and things of that sort have not been the greatest.
Agreed.
Underwater
Yeah.
combat is never great. It feels like. I think there's a couple games that have done it okay, but I still think it's one of those things you've got to really pay attention to and nail and spend a lot of time with, because otherwise, if you just phone it in, it just feels bad, man.
Yeah, I agree. There's been a lot of, in my opinion, attempts at water combat and or water content that hasn't felt very good traditionally in MMORPGs. But I will give credit where credit is due. ArcAge, I felt, did have a really fun naval content, both from a raid boss perspective as well as the interaction of those ships.
Yeah, those ships are a lot of fun.
Yeah, the ships were a lot of fun for sure. Let me see. I think I have another. Oh, I wonder what the bear looks like in the water.
The brew bear. I was
Where
thinking
are
he
you,
gets
Steven?
seawater in his barrels.
I'm on one of these little islands over here.
Oh, I'm like, I think we're all together, but we're not with you.
Yeah, we're all
Oh
together
yeah,
without
where
you.
did Steven
What
go?
happened?
Where did you go?
I was dancing around thinking
Oh,
that
I
we were
think I see
recording
him
me.
over here. You guys, over this way.
I just caught a fish. I'm guessing it's going to be a red snapper. We'll see.
Ooh.
I could feed it to a tortoise that's approaching.
Yes, my tortoise is hungry.
Do I have a bear?
You can get a bear.
Well, let's
Yeah.
try the day strider first. So this is a mule. Mules have some cargo capacity. First of all, the mule is very excited. The day strider is very... Oh, look at its eyelashes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Hey girl,
gotta
what
keep
kind
all
of
those-
mascara are you using?
Yeah, but she's
all
super
natural.
excited to get in the water. Yay.
Oh my gosh, I just see now what you're saying, like at a certain angle. Those eyelashes are massive.
Yeah, those eyelashes are huge. Let's see
Gotta
what she
keep all the
looks like.
bugs out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, question.
she's super
I know
tall.
that someone had asked this before, which was, will different mounts have different speeds?
Yes.
Like, because this is like a pack mule, will it have a different speed and be slower?
So mounts traditionally will have stat groups and or speeds associated with their first baseline stat and then augmented based on their rarity from a drop status or from the profession of animal husbandry that players have available to them.
What kind of things will they be able to control in regards to animal husbandry and creating those mounts?
So outside of the visual differences that are going to be available, they will also have an impact on the health, the types of skills, the speed that's available, the damage mitigation. They'll have influence over, I think that's primarily the main stat groups. I guess, from a combat perspective, they'll also have influence over the traditional stat groups. So like their combat effectiveness, accuracies, the level of damage that the skills can do, that kind of stuff. Let me see if I can find the bear. Hold on.
Don't worry, I'll just be here fishing.
You should have a bear poke.
Do I have a bear poke? I think I have a bear. Hold on. I have tortoise. I have tide snappers. Oh, brew bear. Got him. Got him. Let's take him out. Oh. And he's swimming. Oh, he swims funny. He's like stretching. It's like, what do I do? Let's take him underwater.
Aw.
Oh, that's great. I like his little swims.
Oh, that's so
It's like he's
cute.
trying to
Yeah,
climb through
that
the
is cute.
water.
Like, what do I do?
You need to get my beer.
He's like, let me out of here.
Yeah, my
It's
rum
like
is
a
getting
giant
tainted by the
doggy
salt water.
paddle.
Oh, it's kind of prancy. I like it.
Let's try one more. I think I have, I think there's a... Let me see here.
Do you have our little otter boy?
Which one?
Tidebreaker?
Yeah, the tidebreaker.
The tiebreaker. I was on the tiebreaker, I thought.
As a tide snapper.
Yeah, tide snapper. Tidebreaker is the
Oh.
like otter one.
I don't have the
I don't know if that
tiebreaker.
one's in here.
Yeah, I don't know if it's in this build.
I might be. I can try to give myself a tidebreaker. Hold on.
I feel nervous now.
It's gonna be like some monstrosity that spawns.
Have we tested this before?
Oh, I don't know if we have. That's a very good question.
Here, I'm gonna
Guys,
go around
we're
the
gonna...
corner.
Oh, yeah, go around the corner.
Just gonna hide. If we see like a giant tide snapper from behind the cliff.
All right,
Ooh,
I'm going to
dragon.
attempt to
I'm
summon
trying to
the
make my dragon
tidebreaker.
swim.
Does it swim? Oh my gosh, it does
I'm
swim.
gonna
The dragon does
Here
swim.
we go.
Oh,
Dragon
Kinda
look at it.
swimming.
Let me go look at it.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
yes.
pretty.
Swim with it. Swim.
The wings are a little weird. I don't think they're done yet, but
No.
it's cute.
Yeah, that's pretty
Our
cool.
animation team's probably like, oh my gosh, they're showing
I
us
know.
what we don't
I
want
know.
anyone to see. But in regards to mounts and flying mounts, are you expecting them to be able to swim at the same pace as like other creatures in the water?
So, no. So aquatic creatures in the water will have the absolute best speed and performance and water-specific skills. I see Jeff's over here.
Yeah, we're creeping on him. It's like he's got to go pee, so he's like hiding behind the rock.
Hang on.
I have a tide snapper and I have tide snapper. I tried to give myself the tide breaker, and that did not happen.
That's okay.
Yeah, so that's not available.
Yeah.
But there's a lot. I mean,
Ooh,
just
not
to,
letting me.
fishing.
to give you, yeah, go for fish. There's I mean, guys, just to give you again an idea, you know, Ashes has a lot of obviously complex systems, but they're all intended to provide the players interaction points, basically agency over, you know, how your world exists around you. And that includes the types of animals that you can have as pets and or mounts through the profession of animal husbandry and the acquisition of these things. And they're diverse. They're not just, you know, monolithic mounts. There are specific mounts for specific areas, like the aquatic mounts or the land mounts or the flying and gliding mounts. These are all obviously very important. Oh my God. Did you just dive into the water with a griffin?
I think she did.
I did.
Oh
Hey
my
Toast,
God.
have you seen any like other questions about mounts specifically that you think maybe Steven could answer or
Oh
Jeff
yeah.
I'll have to think about that one. I
Okay.
think the one that you asked earlier about the different speeds was a big one.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that asked a few times.
Let me
And then
see.
of course, people want more details on the abilities and how they can modify them through animal husbandry.
Yeah,
But I don't know if
absolutely.
we're ready to go into all the details on that.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be kind of developed on that side before we can give like super great answers on that.
And tested, absolutely.
Ooh, what about mounts that can have multiple people on them?
The group mounts, absolutely. So that was a part of our, I think a part of our Kickstarter stretch goals was the group mount. And the cool thing about the group mounts is they're going to have specific functionality that relates to multiple people, obviously. And they're also going to provide some pretty cool benefits, I think, that will make them stand out from traditional single-player mounts and kind of functions that the writers have available to them while they're writing based off of certain skills. So like normal mounts, single-player mounts will have specific skills that you level up that pertain to you as the writer, whereas the group mounts will have specific skills that can only be utilized by characters who are currently in the seat of a passenger position. So there'll be unique passenger positions that have correlating skills. Let me see if I can dive down. Ooh, there we go. Yeah, I'm swimming on this guy too. He's just like, I want some fish. Feed me.
Now I want to like create a serpent, like a big serpent creature.
Like a water serpent?
Yeah, like a big water
Ooh.
serpent.
A Leviathan.
Yeah, Leviathan.
That was funny,
yes.
Jeff. Yeah. So I think it's pretty cool. You guys have anything else you want to chat about with the mounts and whatnot?
I guess we do get a lot of questions in regards to like cosmetics and how people can apply those to different mounts and like which ones apply to which.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you guys know, we do absolutely zero pay to win whatsoever, and we'll never have pay to win in Ashes of Creation. However, with that being said, when you have a cosmetic skin that applies to certain mounts, you must achieve that base mount first in the game. So we're not actually, selling power or anything like that, or you're not achieving, essentially these cosmetics to replace the in-game achievement. Now, the cosmetics themselves will be applied to specific types of mounts. Remember, there's 3 tiers of land mounts, there's aquatic mounts, and cosmetics will apply based off of those tiers. So if it's a flying base kind of cosmetic that's capable of being on a gliding mount, you can apply that flying skin to that tier 2 mount. If it's kind of a horse related one here, let me see if I have another horse one. Oh, here we go. So we have this horse. This could be applied to tier 1 mounts, which you can get pretty early on in the game. Now, let me see if I have I think I have a Midnight Mare. Do
I hope so.
I do. There we go.
Ooh, pretty.
Yeah. Oh, Toast has one too.
I do.
LaPerza, where's yours?
I didn't buy one.
Unbelievable.
Not
I
buying
know.
every mount in the shop, rookie.
Well, what more do I need other than my turtle?
You need every mount. Come on. Be a true collector.
But yeah, so we just wanted to jump in, guys, give you another little development update, showcase some of the aquatic mounts and the mounts in general, and let you know that we are hard at work in continuing development towards Alpha 1, and we're excited to get you guys in. So, with that being said, we will see you back on the stream, and hope you guys are having an awesome end of your September. Oh, we're in fall, by the way.
It's
We're in
the
fall.
end of September already.
I know.
Yeah. It's nuts.
All right, guys. Have an awesome day. We'll see you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye now.
Like in
Bye.
like 2 seconds.
Yeah, bye and hello. All right. With that, we hope that you enjoyed a little bit of content about mounts. I know we preempted that it was going to be about mounts, so hopefully people were prepared for that. But there was some conversation. I hope that we answered quite a few questions that you guys had throughout the stream in regards to the mounts specifically. And like I said, this is going to be a long stream. We got a lot more content to show you all. But in regards to the underwater viewing, people were having questions about underwater visibility and what that's going to look like. And I'll have a further question after that.
Yeah, so absolutely. So there's a few things to know about the underwater visibility. Obviously, this is a very first pass approach on the ocean, both shader and the post-processing effects that occur when your camera moves under that shader. There are volumes that exist, and the post-processing is essentially adding like a distance fog, out in the water. It's adding a little bit of a blur effect. Those things are going to be revised and perfected as we move forward, just like all the art, as you've seen, over the past couple of years in progress we've shown. They'll get much, much better. So this is kind of the first stab at it. Brian Gans and Tristan Snodgrass, they did a great job with the initial implementation of this water shader and the ocean shader itself, but it'll have a lot more work done to it.
Yeah, and then the next question is obviously, will there be an underwater combat or mounted combat? And I think we've kind of answered some of this question before, but I know there's a lot of new people in the community, so if you don't mind reiterating.
Absolutely, yeah. So there is underwater combat. There is naval combat with regards to ships. This is obviously a very important part of the ocean content that's out there. There's raid bosses, there's dungeons, there's
caravans.
Exactly. Trade ships, essentially, as you move goods throughout the world. All of this stuff is going to have not just a player versus environment type combat setting, but also player versus player. So it's important that it feels good and fluid. Obviously, a lot of MMOs have tried to get combat right in underwater environments. And as many of us as MMO players know, not a lot have hit the mark. So it's a tall order, one that we're going to be spending a lot of time on trying to get right, to feel good. But it's being done early on in development, and hopefully we come up with something that's going to feel pretty good.
And just to reiterate, I know a lot of people in chat were saying they really enjoyed Guild Wars 2 and ArcAge. I saw some EverQuest folks in there as well. I know Jeff and I have worked on the EverQuest franchise before. I think it's just very interesting to see like what other people think and like what you guys like too. So if we were watching the chat, we enjoy hearing it. And of course, you can always join us over on our forums, over on ashesofcreation.com /forums. So you can, so you can go check it out over there and give us your feedback. We always love reading that. Toast does a great job of putting together reports. So thank you. The next question I have here is also if people will be able to craft / make items that allow them to see better underwater.
Probably not see better underwater. You will obviously have items that you can create, craft, and or that drop that will improve mobility in water, potentially speed in water. There could be buffs for underwater breath. There, a lot of mechanics there, but I don't know that we'll probably touch the visibility component of it.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, the blurriness you saw is just a factor of kind of where do we want to go with it. We're still playing with it. We're trying to figure it out. But I think that visibility is going to be a thing that we want people to have like an even Steven kind of experience with, right? That people aren't necessarily going to be able to see farther than other people based on what their equipment is.
Cool. All right, should we move on to environment? We have a lot of other
Yeah.
stuff. So moving on to the wonderful environment team, they have a lot of stuff for us today. The first thing I'm going to show you are some concepts and then the actual models. So I'll go through these pretty quickly, but we are showing off a lot of the housing stuff as well as node leveling up and what you're going to see in those node houses and things of that sort. So Stephen, if you guys want to talk about that while I kind of cycle through all of these, that would be great.
Absolutely. So you see here a bunk bed. As you know, there are family systems.
For 2 dwarves.
For 2 dwarves, exactly. There is a family system in place, and furniture is an important part of the housing system. Furnitures will offer certain in-game benefits, such as this bed will have a rested experience benefit. However, cool, fun little thing there with that bunk bed is if you have another family member in the bunk bed with you while you sleep together, you get a boosted benefit from the buff. So
What? I didn't know this.
I know. And the same thing's true for the king size bed. If you are married in game and your spouse is sleeping with you in that bed, you get a different type of benefit. Right?
Steven,
Just
oh my
like turning
God.
all red.
What? I'm just saying that there's a different type of animal husbandry going on there. So,
oh no, why?
oh my God. What's our ESRB rating?
I think T for teen, so right is what we're going for.
Just cuddling. Just cuddling.
As long as we don't display the, like the Sims vibes, like you can see it, I think we're okay.
Yeah. Those pillows look really comfy though, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Dwarves make the best pillows.
We got a bookshelf here. And then this is the in-game
Got some
versus
bookshelves. These are great. I think this is Adam Will that did the bookcases and maybe the furniture as well.
I believe I'd have to go look at who it was.
But whoever on the environment team did a great job with these. They capture, I think, the type of visual aesthetic you would expect from a Dunir traditional dwarven type of furniture.
Now when I see the single bed, I'm sad for them.
Well,
no buffs for you.
No buffs for you.
I know they
you
get
rest.
Just lesser.
You get rest XP, right, or something.
Yeah, they don't have the potential to create children, right? And the children is part of the orphanage system.
Stop with the orphanage.
Then when a node gets siege.
When a node gets siege and the house,
and
is destroyed, your child that you created via the bed actually gets put into an orphanage.
He said this a million times. Like he's really trying to sell Jeff and I were like, no, this is bad. Oh
I'm
my
sorry.
God. Oh, my heart.
Are you sorry?
I'm just messing. I'm sorry.
I know you're just messing. So yeah, lots of cool items. There's so many more items being created, and obviously this is like dwarven sets. There's a lot of all the different races that you're going to see, but we just kind of really wanted to show you guys some of this stuff. You've also seen some concept art of some of these, but now you're seeing the models from our previous episodes of our development updates. So if you've been following along with our journey for a long time, you've gotten to see all of it. Maybe we could do like a montage whenever we launch of like the journey.
I really hope so.
That'd be really cool. I think I would really like that.
Absolutely.
Next up, some amazing concept art that is just
yeah.
chef's kiss. So if you want to talk a little bit about kind of what we're going for and all these different pieces, I'll walk through them.
Yeah. So as you guys saw in the video, obviously we're in a little bit of a tropical environment, but part of the Alpha 1 presentation at the end of this year is going to largely be in a tropical bay type area of the map. So, these concept images that I believe these were done by Ryan Richmond, they provide the environment artists kind of sample biomes that they can target both the creation of foliage and these trees, the layout of different bayous that might exist or inlets. That really kind of create I think, a compelling atmosphere for this kind of tropical shore beach environment, and it's a lot of fun. I think really just to explore. But here you get to see kind of the early concepts, and then as we move into Alpha 1, you'll start to see the representation in the actual game world.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that first screenshot of
Oh, yeah, I can go
the
back.
first concept
Yeah, I
piece.
can go back.
I thought that was an in-game shot. That's kind of
It
what
looks
the
like
world
that
is really
in-game if you-
looking at like right now.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
have fooled me based on what we're seeing in the game. So so kudos to everybody. Like it's coming together really nicely. Our designers are hard at work trying to populate this area. It's going to be
Absolutely.
a lot of fun, I think.
And one of the things really, like, you're seeing these types of rock formations present in another game that I played where you had ships and ship content. It was really cool. A certain part of the map had this kind of rock formation that was similar here, and I thought that presented a really fun environment for PvP with these ships, essentially. And that's one of the components of this environment that's going to be incorporated, having those types of rock formations. It's also a high fantasy type of look too.
A lot of cool vertical space that we can use as designers to kind of change things up and make things feel really cool and different. When you're a ship and you're coming into port, right, you got to kind of watch out what's on top of those rocks and make sure that you're safe and that nobody's going to drop in on you. So it's pretty cool.
That's really awesome. So mad props to our environment team who has been just pumping out some amazing content, whether that be like the little tiny pieces that you're seeing in the houses and in the structures and in the buildings themselves, and then obviously getting the feel and concept down of these spaces and then being able to create those spaces that you're going to be experiencing. It's been very, very cool to see that come to fruition. So as we showcase more of it, you guys actually saw parts of this area too in that video if you go back to the mounts video, so definitely go look at it and you'll maybe scout out where it is in the space there. I'm going to move on to our character stuff because we still have a lot more content to go through and we have some Q&A as well. So on to the character. Now, Steven did do a little sneak peeky of our beautiful Ram Strider here, but this is such a beautiful piece. Jinsey is one of our artists, and she does that all. She does it from not even concept, but like just creating it out of her crazy mind, which I love, her beautiful crazy mind, and then all the way to like animating the piece and getting it in game in that regard. So it is just amazing to see it. So I don't know if you want to talk a little about this little bad boy, but I'll show off the different angles of it.
The Ram Strider is, again, like a tamed mount, effectively. These guys are things that you're going to find in the wild, also raised by people who raise such animals, and they're going to be a fun, cool-looking mount for folks.
Yeah, whenever I see that guy.
Steven.
That's what I think of him whenever I see him.
That's what you were doing. I was wondering what you were doing on your phone. I was like,
That's a big mount. I love it. Oh, he is thick though. But no, Jinsey does it. Jinsey does a great job, obviously, with these mounts, and this is just kind of another example of really the vast array of possibilities that come with the mount systems. I mean, mounts are such a cherished and beloved aspect of MMORPGs, at least everyone I've ever played, and it's really cool to have a very in-depth system, I think, to facilitate really complex and unique aspects to what players can acquire, to what they can collect, and that's that's obviously a huge portion of what many of us as players drive for in Ashes or in MMOs.
And we also just want to make sure that, this feels like a fantasy world. This doesn't feel like Earth. That there's some things that are familiar, but then there's other things that just are out of this world. And that's kind of where we get to play a lot in fantasy worlds. And we want to make sure that we don't kind of fall into these sort of staid kind of traditional expectations. We want to be able to change it up every once in a while. And this is one of those places.
Yeah.
If you just had like a full body like pillow plush of this creature that just was like in your bed with you, that would be just
I don't know about the horns.
Would you get a
though.
buff?
Yeah, I don't know. No, I was talking about in real life, Jeff. I don't know if you get
But I do think that this is amazing. And obviously, we have a lot of mounts that we've been showing off, and we'll have many more that are attainable in game too. So don't worry about that. So with that, we also have saddles that we have created, and these are other pieces that you can put on your mounts. So I don't know if you want to kind of talk a little bit about that. Obviously, this is one of the pieces that some of you have probably seen before, but there's going to be many other saddles and barding that you're going to see coming in as well.
Yeah, mount equipment is obviously very important, as is battle gear for pets. These are gear chases for your pets, and your pets are an extension of you, really. So, being able to kit them out with good gear is something that players strive to attain. And this is an example of kind of how those gears are partitioned on the mount itself. This is obviously a saddle that, in my opinion, looks very good, and I would love to have that on my horse.
It's Bayloon style, right?
So there are questions in regards to saddles,
I think so.
And if saddles will provide any extra benefit to people. Obviously, this is a cosmetic one, so this would not give you a benefit. It would just be a cosmetic you would put over the saddle that you currently have.
Right. So you would have to attain the saddle item itself, and then you can apply the cosmetic to that item. So again, we don't actually provide through the cosmetic power, right? Exactly. Now, all gear has stat modifiers, so they adjust the stat of the mount and or pet, and then additionally, some gear based on its rarity will add additional effects. That could be a base increase of speed for a particular piece of set, or could be damage mitigation for the saddle and or body armor. Those types of things are going to be present on more legendary gear and equipment.
It's funny. People are like, look at my horse. My horse is amazing. Cool. Yeah. I think that answers that. I don't know if there was any other one that I saw in chat. But moving on from there, we're going to move into some armor pieces. And I know, Jeff, you kind of want to talk a little bit about armor on males versus females as well. As you saw in the mount video, you could see that Violet, Light, and Jeffrey were both wearing the same armor, but there was like a little bit of differences between their armor as well.
So I just wanted to point out, like, if you take a look at that video again, Violet, Light, and myself are wearing exactly the same armor set, right? Same stats, same everything, but it drops for her, it looks one way, it drops for me, it looks another way. And a big part of that is a small part of that is gender, but then the other part of it is race. So because I was a Valoon in that playthrough, my armor was in the Valoon style. And when she picked it up, it was in the elven style because she was an elf. So that kind of gives you an example of sort of the breadth of looks that we're going for, and how we kind of try to capture like who you are as a character, and kind of allow you to kind of build your look that way. So
right. And a lot of games have kind of taken that direction. As a matter of fact, the inspiration for that particular approach came from my experiences with Lineage 2. I really enjoyed how they kind of had subtle differences between different races and genders wearing the same thematic set. And you would see obviously a crossover with the theme, whether that be the materials and or textures and the color palettes, like that would maintain across races and genders, but there would be essentially a different representation of that armor. So that's a similar approach that we're taking with regards to the armor sets in Ashes of Creation. It's that you're going to have one set that can be traded, can be sold, can be crafted, and then as that set is equipped by different races and or genders, it's going to have subtle differences between them.
It's always exciting for me when I hear you talk about games that I've worked on too, and I'm like, oh, Lineage 2. It's exciting anyway, no matter who's talking about it. But it's, to me, whenever Steven does, I'm like, aw. So this is the Dwarven set that we have, and it's very cool looking. I think Steven also might have leaked this to some folks on the Discord as well. I'm not sure if it was everybody, but
I'm sorry.
no, it's okay.
I have bruises from last week.
No, stop it.
There are places you can't see.
Another
though.
thing that was leaked. So we have the Empyrean cloth armor that you can see here, the back and the front. So I'll kind of go through that again.
Yeah, and this kind of gives you also an understanding of some capes. I know that some people saw a little bit of a representation of capes in Apocalypse, but here you can see kind of the diversity that we're going to have among the capes. You're going to have one shoulder capes, you're going to have full body capes, you're going to have cloaks and whatnot, and these are all kind of encompassing the back slot item. You can also choose, even if you have it equipped, because they will have stats, you can choose not to have them visible if you wish to have a different back slot kind of presented, whether that be a shield or a weapon. That's going to be something left to the players.
All right, and then moving into this is the female one, I believe. You can kind of see it, the textures.
Yeah.
And then I will show you all the male version here. And they're in a T-pose because that's like.
Oh, we need to tighten up that waist a little bit. That's a big costume. I haven't had an opportunity to review these, but these look good. I love them.
Yeah, they're all work in progress, and they did send everything to me as work in progress. So keep in mind,
Nice.
This is a development update stream. This is all work in progress. None of this is final. As we've said a couple times already throughout the stream, even when we were in the mount video as well. And then with that, here's another render. This is Valoon instead of Empyrean, whereas the other one was Empyrean. So we showed you Empyrean and Valoon now. And
Yeah, I love this.
yeah, I love the like gold like panel plating. It's very interesting. And then we've got some Kalar faces. This is the male work in progress faces that are being worked on. Obviously these are work in progress. But you've seen, I think there's been a lot of commentary about like our models, and I know that they're working through all the models and kind of giving them all updates. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about that, Stephen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's as you're creating the game, the size of Ashes of Creation, an MMORPG in and of itself is one of the largest projects you can do in gaming. But Ashes of Creation, I think, takes it to the next level because we have a lot of ambition in our systems and features that we want to provide the players. So, here you're seeing as we continue development, these base models for the different races will continue to get refined further. And as we eventually get to the character creator stage, where you're going to see a lot of customization and flexibility in the deformations that are available, both from a character facial perspective as well as the overall body perspective, our goal is to aim for the stars in what is possible on the character creator front. And that requires a lot of custom work on essentially setting the parameters of the extreme sides of the spectrum on where players can deform targets on their character that they're utilizing through the character creator. So this is just continual work moving forward on these base body models to facilitate the goals we have with the character creator itself.
And this one is specifically Kalar if folks are interested in the race. And with that is...
I see that somebody said that I like the bald Asmongold look.
Yeah. People are like, we like the bald. Everyone in chat, I saw that quite a few times.
Is Asmongold that bald? I don't think so. I haven't seen his stream in a while, but...
You guys are funny. With that, I think we're gonna swap into our Q&A segment. I tried to get through all of the content really quickly because I know that we had a long video in there. So hopefully you guys enjoy the development update as far as that goes. We're gonna grab some of our questions from the forums. So first and foremost, it's going to be our one from Unknown1 on the forums, which asked, what prevents someone from having their friends or guild members kill them to reduce their corruption and give them back their gear/items after death?
Nothing would prevent that. If they are capable of successfully hiding away from the bounty hunters that can locate them on a map, and they are capable of being killed, then yes, that is a way potentially that you could manage to remove corruption. However, there's significant risk with that, obviously, and there's significant downfalls with the death penalties that get applied to a corrupt character. So they're not subverting the penalty per se. They are mitigating the risk on the drop of particular gear. But essentially, the bounty hunter system, because the bounty hunters have the ability to locate corrupt players on the map, that severely kind of impacts the ability for people to move to a safe area with their friends and attempt to avoid the loss of gear. But again, they're still going to suffer those death penalties, and they're still going to have the risk of bounty hunters and even other players locating them and killing them.
All right, cool. Our next question here is from Sheko, and also I guess it's two people who had this question, and CFSU, sorry if I pronounce your names wrong, which asked, have you decided whether the world of Vera will be plane or sphere, able to be circumnavigated? Which I think we've had this. I feel like we've had this question maybe before.
Yeah, we have.
But
The answer is
it's a good question.
Yeah, there will not be world wrapping in Ashes of Creation. Yep.
All right. And then with that, our next question is, will swimming have limiters like stamina to prevent people from swimming all over the place? And this is from Mr. Tea Time.
There will
Like
not be
for deep water swimming, probably is what you're talking about.
Well, there's breath, right? But I think he's maybe referring to like the ability just to swim out in the open water on the surface. And there's not a limitation from a stamina perspective. There is, however, on breath, obviously.
Cool. Oh, and I guess that question has been answered. The navigation one was answered in PI, but not publicly. So I'm used to hearing the answer, I guess. Our next question is from Bricktop, who wants to know, will there be a hard cap on the number of players that an AoE spell can hit in PvP? Or is it just kind of like in the conal space or in the circular space, depending on the ability?
So we have not come to a conclusion on that yet. We're leaning towards no. But that is going to require additional testing. I know other games that have done that, and this kind of damage AoE mitigation or diminishing returns. And while I believe diminishing returns are appropriate from a CC perspective, I don't believe limiting the number of contacts made for AoE skills is something that feels good as a player.
Yeah, it also kind of changes the way that large scale PvP ends up playing out. Where the AoE becomes kind of limited and doesn't serve as the counterplay against certain types of strategies that it should. So that's kind of, we're still talking about it. There's still decisions to be made there, but that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
And a Waste wants to know, will players be able to party duel in addition to 1v1 duel?
I don't see why not. I like the idea of having group versus group. It's essentially just extending that flag out to the active party members. There would be some complication, no, not complication, but there would be some additional logic necessary if the player were to drop a party per se in the middle of a duel. But I don't see that as being too difficult. So it's something that's on our radar. Yes.
Interesting. Yeah, that is a thing that somebody might try to scam, so you'd have to find a way around it, but that's cool. I think it'd be fun to put down a flag and you just battle it out. Our next question from Jalan is, if your node is at war with a node your guildmate lives in, does that stop you from being able to party with your guildmates, raid, and defend your castle if the defensive siege happens during the same period as the node war is happening?
So it won't prevent you from being able to party, and it won't prevent you from participating in co-events that are present. So if the guild affiliation, if the desire of the player is to participate in events, they can still do so, but they'll have to be cognizant of the fact that they're flagged for war with each other.
And Zenmara.
And
Oh,
by
go
the way,
ahead.
that is subject to testing and change. There are some complications. Obviously, the affiliation tier, the affiliation structure is complicated because there's so many what we call pseudo factions. Essentially, being a non-faction based game is, in my opinion, great, but you need to provide the opportunity for two things: one, for pseudo factions to form, and two, for soft friction to occur between those pseudo factions. Right, and that's what compels players to engage in these types of you know, decisions of friend or
Conflict. Yeah.
foe, right, and that can help to instigate conflicts. But because of that complexity in the affiliation system, there are going to be some oddities that form between different affiliations that you may have, and how they can be at odds with one another. It's kind of the philosophy of the friend of, or the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of a theory, right? So we have to play with that from a testing standpoint, and that is subject to change. But it is something that is obviously at the forefront of our minds when it comes to that component.
And I would like to preface that all of the content that we put out is subject to change based on testing, not just that one piece.
That's yeah, sure, yeah.
Some
We should
things are
have that.
closer than other things, but yeah, like
Exactly.
we haven't done the full large scale testing yet. That kind of will allow this stuff to kind of fall out, and we'll start to see where the problems are and what we can do to fix them. So
Yeah, for sure.
stay tuned.
I think we did did we do the naval one? I can't remember. So our question from Zenmara is, will naval combat be included in the siege aspect of seaside nodes, with harbors having both defensive and offensive capabilities?
Yeah, I've answered this in the past with regards to nodes that are near the coast will have harbor hooks that develop alongside the node's development. Those harbors will provide obviously ship construction locations. They'll provide specific sea-related content and questing. And during a siege of a node that has leveled that harbor up, there will be objectives for the attackers to and the defenders to be cognizant of during that siege that reside within the harbor. So there's an opportunity there for ships to engage in part of the siege components when it comes to these events.
Okay. And then our question from Kals is, if crafted items will be on par with best in slot items, does that mean we will craft legendary quality gear too?
Yes. It's going to require legendary quality crafters to do it.
Yep, and legendary quality materials.
Sure has it. Dark Furia wants to know, will gear only have a limited number of times it can be repaired?
No. Gears can be continually repaired. The idea behind the decay system for gear is not to make it, a background thought, as many MMOs I've experienced in the past have done with this trivial, gold component cost of repairing that gear, and that really doesn't scale well. But instead to make it more material based, whereas materials are obviously going to be the life force of the crafting system. As long as we are capable of placing that additional burden of demand on the material systems, that will also help to contribute to the life force of the gatherers and the processors, and helps to just continue fueling that economy.
And then our question from Nico Tulo wants to know, can tab targeted abilities be augmented to become action and combat abilities, and vice versa? I think some can, right?
Not
Probably
really.
not.
No. So, I
That'd be
mean,
good.
obviously, there's a complexity layer that exists between balancing action-based abilities and tab-targeted abilities. Now, some abilities, when advanced with additional skill points, can change some of their targeting
Yeah,
mechanics.
that's what I was thinking.
But that's not going to be a simple flip switch where I get to choose at any moment, hey, I'd like to have this ability be an action ability outside of its tab ability. You'd have to progress the specific ability to a stage where it allows for that. Right, Jeff?
Yeah, and then also we don't want to necessarily mess up somebody's experience based on what they're expecting from a given ability, right? So we want to make sure that the functionality of the ability makes sense in its progression so that it's still usable by the person who wants to use it, right?
Then I'm going to ask 2 bonus questions as well because a couple of these.
Bonus questions?
Yeah, because
Oh my
Stephen had
God.
mentioned that some of them were he'd already answered, so I want to make sure that we just cover it. So Parsival or Par 551 Fall wants to know. I'm assuming it was trying to be lead speak. What a character's cloths. When a character's cloths or cloths. Clothes. I don't know why I'm saying cloths. When a character's clothes are affected by the environment, is this just cosmetic or will it change a character's resistances?
When a character's clothes are affected by the environment?
Yes.
Is that
Is it
thing?
just
I don't even
cosmetic
know. I don't even know what that
or will
means.
it change a character's resistance? So in a past stream, you had talked about how if you're in a cold area, that there may be potential for like abilities to have effects based on
Oh,
being
sure.
cold.
Yeah.
But
You
I
can
don't
have
know if
climates.
there has been specifically armor that will have effects.
No.
I don't
Yeah, no.
think so.
There are climate effects that occur from a buff standpoint. They can also affect skills. Like let's say you're using a frost bolt in a winter climate. There's the ability for those effects to be enhanced and or stronger in those climates. But I do not understand or
I
Oh,
think
so
I think
Sarah's
that
saying
at one
that
point.
Toast is saying that it's because someone was saying that armor got wet in another video that we had. Like you came out of the water and it looked wet.
oh no.
I think we
No.
talked about this in a live stream a long time ago, where we have the ability to like make a thing dirty as it's being used, but
Ooh,
that was
yeah.
not something that we were ever talking about as like something that's
So it's
really
just
going to be
it's
functional
more
Right.
in the game.
cosmetic. Yeah.
And that's probably not a direction we're going to go. Right?
And we're probably not
It's-
going to have the dirtiness either,
Yeah.
because from a performance standpoint, it is really a multiple on the on trying to render as many clients as the client has to render. That's a little more difficult, I think.
You have to
Yeah, so
render the
there
dirty
isn't
people.
going to be like clothing or armor that changes based on what's going on in the environment.
Yeah.
All right. And Dark
Next bonus question.
Ooh, got loud there. Dark Tide wants to know, will there be a guild audit log in-game or exportable that shows who leaves and joins, /promotes, kicks, etc.?
Yeah, one thing I cannot stand as a guild leader in previous MMORPGs is when you log in and your guild count has changed and you have no idea why. So it would be great for us to, and it's perfectly possible because we keep those logs ourselves anyways, for us to provide the guild leader and or officers with a log of events that occur. That includes deposits, withdrawals in the guild bank. It includes promotions. It includes kicks. It includes leaves. Those things should be available for the guild to see.
Yeah, and I know I've talked to Toast a few times about doing some more guild-oriented community things that we'll be doing in the future, so stay tuned for some of that content. Or sometimes they will be like things where we'll kind of get a bunch of people who are interested in talking about guild stuff together. So definitely stay active on our social media. It's right below me at Ashes of Creation and all the places. We'll let you know. I'll do one more question, which is from Nostra, which is, how might high-level players be able to help or interact with their low-level friends through the mentorship program?
Yeah, so the mentorship program kind of provides individual quests that can be initiated by the mentor based off of what node that they are a part of. So these are like requests that are determined by either certain buildings and or organizations or the mayor, and there are specific ones that are available for mentors to provide mentees. And they can also participate in some of those quest lines as well, whether that be leading your mentee through a dungeon, or providing a location for them to arrive with you at, or escort quests for the NPC caravans, or these types of things when done together with your mentor will provide benefits both for the mentor and the mentee as well. So you're incentivized to participate with new players. Obviously, one of the biggest problems that MMORPGs have is the new player acquisition. MMOs do great with retention, but they tend to fall short on the new player acquisition standpoint. One of the ways that the node system addresses that is a large portion of the initial nodes in a game are going to grow mainly around the introduction points around the world. And because they change the spawn tables and the area around them, it keeps it relevant for the later stage players to be returning back to those nodes, which, as we know, a large portion of MMORPG's experience is the social experience. And the reason why traditionally MMOs have had a bad time from a new player acquisition standpoint in the past is because new players join an empty starting area that's no longer relevant, and the base player population has moved to kind of an end stage kind of level. So you don't really see anybody in your initial parts of leveling, and that can kind of be a little bit of a downer and kind of be a problem for the whole social aspect. So because the nodes drive people back to these areas and those areas stay relevant through the changing spawn tables, there are opportunities there for new players to be introduced to a social environment.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add, like, the structure of a node itself is kind of agnostic in terms of what your level is, right? So if the mayor builds a building and all the citizens need to help build that building, you as a low-level player can contribute just as much as somebody who's a higher level. So there's always going to be opportunities for new players to engage with these nodes, which is great, right? It's going to make it feel like a living world, a world that is constantly changing, is constantly moving, that there's always something for you to do beyond just your dailies.
Yeah.
Well, with that, I think we have completed our live stream for September. It has been a journey for us. We appreciate everybody who has, followed along with us as we've, giving you guys updates every month. We've been putting out a lot of content in between as well. If you follow us on our social channels, I think they're over here. Yep. At Ashes of Creation in all the places. We have a lot of dev discussions that are going out. Reminder that we do have a dev discussion coming up. So definitely join us with that. We also have our Glorious Gourd contest, which will be giving away some Alpha 1 keys as well as some other goodies. There might be a graphics card for the top winner.
What?
Holy smokes.
So, yeah. Since Steven already spoiled some stuff, I might as well spoil a little bit more at the end. So for bonus for people who stuck around, But yeah, we'll definitely have some cool stuff. So stay tuned. And, we love you all. We appreciate everybody who's helping us test. We're going to be opening up testing for more people as we progress.
Yes.
But please be patient with us. Obviously, we're working really hard, but there are things that, along the journey, we have to kind of assess whether it's important for us to, add more people and when it's good for us. And really that heavily relies on, engineering and design and people to really give us the, hey, it's now time to test these things. And during these testing phases, you're going to see a lot of bugs. You're going to see a lot of, performance things that we need to adjust. Right now we're in pre-alpha. We're early. So please stay tuned with us.
Yeah, and just to chime in there a little bit, I know I have to give my obligatory disclaimer here, is we are building something that is massive. And, our team is phenomenal. We have some very dedicated, talented MMORPG veterans, and we are all dedicated to making the best quality product possible that answers the call of what many of us as MMORPG players have asked for over many years. We're not aiming to be the WoW killer. We're just aiming to fulfill kind of the promises we've made, as well as the ideas and philosophies that resonate with you guys as gamers. So that process takes time. There's going to be unknowns, things, that come up that we have to address because our end goal is to take the time necessary to deliver the product that we promised and that you guys want to have. So bear with us during this process. It is a lot of work. And we're happy to do that work because we want to see a smile on your guys' faces.
We want to play too.
And we want to play too, exactly. But we so much appreciate your guys' support and tuning into our, to our live streams. Go follow us on social media. We have a great community team that does an awesome job in having some fun interactions with you guys out there. And we'll do some events in the future. And if you're not registered for the website, go register, participate in the forums, chat with us. We love to hear your feedback. We love to hear your experiences. It's all really important to us.
Yep. please definitely send that our way. We do have the cosmetic swapping over soon, so stay tuned for the next set. We also have a creative director's letter that will be coming out soon as well. I know Steven's working on that. We've had a lot of stuff that has been going on our side, so we're trying to get prepared for all of the things. And yeah, stay tuned with us. We have a lot more stuff to show you all along our journey, and we'll see you next month for some more content. We'll also be uploading that other video as a 4K video, I believe. It's just taking time for us to render it out and upload it. So once it's up, we'll release that as well as this live stream as well. So thank you guys and gals and pals and everybody for joining us, and we'll see you next month for another development update.
Love you all. Have an awesome week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for watching.